Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week I'm aiming to get on with the signpost I'm making for Mr. Halfpenny. See you in a minute. Now, a couple of weeks ago I did most of the cutting out and carving for this medallion that's going on the top of the signpost. This week I'm going to hopefully try and get the resin into it and get it more or less finished, and that virtually then I think breaks the back of the whole thing really. So let's see how we get on with it. Now I want to put some resin into the boat and the lettering on this, but I want to make sure that I don't get any into these depressions because I don't want to fill them up with it. As I said before, they're going to be a bit of a swine to sand out, I think, but we'll worry about that later. So I'm just going to cover them up with a bit of masking tape, just so that there's no risk of anything straying in, because once it's in there I'm going to have the devil of a job to get it out again. Right, so it's time to mix up a bit of gel coat for the to use as resin to flood this plaque with. It's probably a bit of a risk really, in that I risk the whole thing if it doesn't work, but I think it should go off okay, and I think it should be. I'm not quite sure how viscous it is. I can't remember when I used it, but yeah, I think it's going to be quite runny enough, and if the worst comes to the worst I can squeegee it in with a credit card type spreader. It's a 3% mix, so I'm going to mix up 50 millilitres, which is marked on this, and I've got a 1.5 milliliter pipette thing to measure out the hardener, so that'll be 1.5 mil of hardener, and I'm just hoping that will be enough. It's not too warm today, so hopefully it won't be going off stupidly fast. I think I'll get some gloves on first of all, perhaps, and let's see how we tip this out. Mil. Right, and then I need something to mix it with, and something to, probably have a smaller screwdriver I think for that. And we want 1.5 millilitres of hardener, which is that, I think. .51, 1.5, yep, that'll do. So we mix that in, mix that up properly, and then see where we go from there. With mixing small quantities is that it's much more critical that you get the mixes right. So I think we're okay with that. Got a good mix. Okay, so let us have a go pouring this in. I'm hoping I can sort of pour it in with a little bit sticking out the top and then sand it back, but I'm really not sure. It's not quite as liquid as I'd hoped it would be, so I'm having to scrape and then spread with the spreader once it's settled in a bit. But the upside is that it does scrape quite nicely and it doesn't leave too much residue on the surface, so maybe it'll be okay. Okay, leave it to dry. Okay, so I've just given the medallion bit a coat of oil, and that's pretty much it finished now. I'll do the whole thing with Osmo once it's finished, all of the post and all of the other finger posts, but that's broken the back of it. I think really that was the thing that the most work was in, so we can get on now and get on with the little signs that point to places of significance that are also needed. And I might cut the post down into an octagonal shape rather than square, because it means you can then slant the signs on when you fix them, but I've got to think about that one a little bit more. So hopefully the next video on this we'll see the whole thing finished. So I hope it was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be doing something different, I hope, and I'll see you then. Bye.